Okay, well, I managed to stop the buckram curling. What I did, I got a pencil and I rolled it up the opposite way and it took care of it. And it seems to be okay, and by the time I get the glow on there'll be nothing to see. So I had to do something because it was annoying me. I don't know if anybody heard me getting a bit frustrated there with it. But anyway, to get the corners in, what you do is you want an 1/8 of an inch over the top, the same as you've got at the over the top of the corner. It's the same as you've got here. And I've put a little mark in there. I'll get in as far as I can get. Yeah. And I've got this edge sealed down with a piece of what they call, just so it doesn't move, a piece of sticky tape. And what I've done is I've put here, I'm doing this just to show you. Put a straight edge on there, about 1/8 of an inch, like so. And leave 1/8 of an inch showing. There. And then place it on, and then mark it with your finger or your thumbnail, whatever you've got. If you haven't got a thumbnail, use something sharp. And then put the other one on the other side, up to the groove that you've made, and press it over. And press it. And then to check it, if you want to, get the other one, put it on up to the paper, lift the paper up, and there you'll find there's just about an 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch showing at the end. And I've done the same on the other side, exactly the same. So I'll put the ruler on, up to an 1/8 of an inch, put it down, put the corner in, squeeze it with my thumb to emboss it, put the other ruler, you can use a ruler, you can use whatever you like, turn it over, press it down, and then put your other one back on to check it, lift it off, and if it's there, you know you're right. So now you can cut down them 2 pieces quite happily. Yeah, we can cut them off quite happily now. Let me steel ruler. Cut them off, and the same with the other one. No measuring, nothing to do. Done all the measuring we're going to do. And there you are. It's ready for going on, and it's going to be reasonably accurate. So all we've got to do is glue that up. And it should go on. Just put that on properly. Ensure you line it up properly, of course, with all your bits and pieces. There you are, yeah. Lined up. And it will stretch a little bit, just slightly anyway, so if you're just a little bit short, you can correct it by pulling it. And I'll glue that in, and then I'll come back and do something. Well, today I'm set up to put the ribbons in and put the internal case covers in, and so this is the ribbons on this, like this, we're going to put in, but ours are going to be red. And what I'm going to do is make these. Now I've done these with Arcos paper in the past. Well, this is the last one I did in Arcos paper, and I found it was a bit too heavy, a bit too thick. So what I've done, I've got some cartridge paper. So we're going to make these 3 sides, 3 pieces, and to make those I've got a cartridge pad. Mine's hard backed, but I mean you can buy, I think they're about between £4 and £6 per cartridge paper. It's heavier than normal paper, but not as heavy as Arcos. And this is A3 size, and I've had it for ages and ages and ages. And what I've done is I've cut a long piece out, I've got everything like this because I haven't got the room, but I've cut a long piece out from the card, 6 inches wide, that's all. I measured up 6 inches exactly and just drew a line down it, and the offcut wasn't big enough for anything else, so I had to go to another page to cut off 2 other pieces at 6 inches each, and they came from the side, just from the side of the book, because they'll fit in, and you can cut 2 6-inch pieces with a little bit left over. So you need sort of 2 sheets to get that, and that's going to do for the inside that way, and these are obviously going to do for the 2 sides that way. So they actually need cutting, but that's the beginning part of it anyway. And there will be enough room because you're going to bend pieces over. They'll all be the same size because you're going to bend over a foot at the bottom to put the 3/4 of an inch to put the and fold it over to stick onto the base, and then another 3/16 of an inch, which is the size of the oh, I had it all set up, there it is. I've got a little template here at 3/16, which is the height of the book case inside what it's going to be, like so. It's going to be that high. So you can use calipers or whatever you like, but I just use a bit of card measured at 3/16, and that will give you the height of the book. So you want 3/4 of an inch up and then score it, and then this little bit on the end, which will be the height of the box. And how you do that I'll show you in the next part. So that's the next bit we're going to do. Well, I did say I was going to use these 3 pieces of paper on the last one to make the side envelopes, but we've got to back it first, unfortunately. What they call laminating, and I'm going to use the same colour as the outside case for the inside. So I've got my red book ram, and I've cut a piece off because I'm trying to save as much as I can, because it's quite expensive this, and unless you've got loads of money it's quite difficult to do. So I've cut it off in a section at a time to fit. And what I've got to do now is I put the cartridge paper on, and I put there's a piece underneath, and what I've got a piece of board under that, and what I'm going to do is just glue it up and give it a quick roller, and then laminate the 2 together, and then we'll see how we get on, because I haven't I'm going to stop them because this is the first time I've used this cartridge paper, so I've got no idea how thick it's going to be. It might be useful, so I might have to go back to Arcos. So before trying it, I'm going to do this and then see if it works. If it works, then I'll let you know. Okay, well, taking up from the last part where I took off, where I finished, I did stick it down and laminate it. I put the book ram and the piece of cartridge paper together, and this is the sort of cartridge paper I'm using. It's quite thin, and I cut the extra bits off which I didn't need and discarded them, and we're left with quite a reasonable piece of lamination there. So I've never done this before. This is brand new. I've never laminated this kind of paper with this kind of book ram, so I'm hoping it works. So I know they stick together quite happily, so there's no problem there. So I'm going to do the other two bits exactly the same way, and we'll see how we get on from there. So that will be ready to go on the... There's the next two bits I've got to do. I'm a bit long-winded about this, I'm sorry. It's because everything's new for me. This is all new. And I'm going to put that on the inside, and we're going to do a few jobs and bend it over, etc. once it's dry. And I have cut this to size, and I've cut it to the internal dimensions to just in the inside. About 1/8 of an inch all the way around. I don't know if you can... I'll get in a bit closer and see if you can see that. And if you look, I've got about 1/8 of an inch. It's still curling up a bit because it hasn't settled down, because I've just made it, obviously. But you can see the white bit there, where I don't particularly like this buckram for that white bit. It's quite annoying. But I didn't want to actually see that. But there you are. It's not the buckram, it's the paper. So I should have put a red pen on that and covered it up with an indelible red pen or a marker pen or something, just to cover it up. I might even do that. So anyway, it's ready for sticking on. I'll stop there. And it's the same at the sides. If you look at the sides, sides are the same, 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And then what I'm going to do now is mark up 3/4 of an inch and then 3/16 for the little hollow bit at the bottom, which will fit to make the book end, or the case, inside case ends. Anyway, I'll stop there because I'm waffling now. And I'll do the other ones the same as that. These will get done the same. And I'll lay that down, see if it will stay flat, and we'll carry on in a minute. Right, I put my piece of paper on, bit of buckram. I'm going to show you one of these, how I do it. I've done two. Just mark the outside external dimensions of the paper, and then we can take the paper off, because I'm just going to put the stuff on the buckram. Put that back on in a minute, and I'll glue up the buckram. We only need to go to the dimensions, the marks. And this is the minimal amount of paper, using the minimal amount of paper then. I don't know who else does this. I do all crazy effects to save paper and money and whatever. Yeah, just making sure it's, because if this isn't glued down I'll be very disappointed. Yeah, I'm doing the back of the buckram at the moment. That's what I'm doing, I'm just gluing up the back. And I'm going to put the paper on. I'll mark the top because that's the one with the decal on, top of the book. And there we are, that's in limits. And I'll just press it down and you'll see it goes in quite easily. And what I'm going to do, which I don't normally do, is cut off the edges before it actually dries, because I want to turn it over so I'm not too thingy. You shouldn't really do this, you should wait till it dries first, but buckram's quite heavy, so it will take a bit of knife work before it moves. Yeah, it's only to take the excess off, that's all, because we don't need it anymore. So all the all the other bits would have been done exactly the same as this. You can see what I've been doing, and it's the first time I've done anything like this, of this nature. Breaking all the rules here doing this, but rules are made to be broken, so I'll break them. Okay, that's the bits taken away then. Move that out of the way. There we go, a quick roller. And this is working better than the Argos paper, much better. It's much more pliable and easier to work. And it's much less mess, and it doesn't curl up as much. And I shall now put that with the other bits ready for forming my last little bits. A little bit at the top there, don't try and pull it off, you have to cut it. If there's any whiskers or anything, just cut them off, don't try and pull them, because you'll go, it'll be like a sock, it'll go down to the bottom. Okay, so I'll put that out to dry, and we'll go on to the next bit in a minute, the measuring up and cutting again.